everybody, and welcome to Cross and Kin. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Randy.
And this is Uncle Scrooge, or if you're Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Unca Scrooge. We are here with kind of a part 2 to our last video. 2 weeks ago, Daddy told us his top 10 cartoons of all time, and this week, we're doing mine.
I suspect this is going to be just a little bit of a more modern take to some of the classics that I mentioned in mine.
Probably.
And if you were with us, you may remember, but my number one was the Jetsons.
If you weren't with us, card will be up above one of our heads somewhere.
Go back and check that out. See what you think, especially you guys that are my age.
But today, Daddy's got the list, and I'll be explaining it.
So, without further ado, here is Kristen's top 10 animated episodic goodies. All right, number 10, coming in with Life is like a hurricane here in... That's not the lyric, is it?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Ducksburg, the reboot.
The reboot. Wow, the reboot. Okay.
Now, I know the reboot gets some flack just on the basis it's a reboot. People don't like reboots. I think this specific reboot, now there are some reboots I hate with a fiery passion, but this specific reboot, first off, they took great pains to make sure that Uncle Scrooge sounded like Uncle Scrooge.
And its
David
voice.
Tennant does a great job paying homage to the original voice, who we'll probably talk about here a little bit later. But David Tennant does a great job, and the entire voice cast, the only people that don't sound like their original cartoon counterparts very much are the kids and Mrs. Beakley, and that's just because they are different types of characters in this version. But this show also does a really good job of paying homage not only to the original DuckTales, but to the entirety of the Disney afternoon that was going on in the 90s.
Right.
We get references to Chip and Dale. There are whole episodes devoted to Darkwing Duck. There are references to the Gummy Bears. There are references to gargoyles in that Keith David is actually a voice and does a little bit of the I Live Again bit from Gargoyles.
Wow.
Like just about Bonkers has a little tiny appearance at one point. Almost every single Disney Afternoon cartoon, possibly every single Disney Afternoon cartoon, gets a loving reference in this show. And what's great is that it's actually a continuous plot while also being episodic. Like you can pick up various plot points at various points in the story. You'll still be getting the overarching, but there are some that are basically standalone.
Did they use Tailspin as well?
Yes, we have a
Very
whole
cool.
episode of with a grown up Kit Cloud Kit. We don't see Baloo, but we see a grown up Kit.
I see. Okay, cool.
So very the DuckTales reboot, it's good. Yeah, there are some things I don't love about it, but I think for as sweet of an homage as it is to the original, it deserves its place in my top 10.
How's the animation, Kristen?
It's good. They go kind of to the comic book animation that DuckTales originated in.
Yeah.
Like Scrooge originated in a Disney
comic book. Yeah, I have a comic book that Scrooge McDuck is in.
And the Huey, Dewey, and Louie getting left with him thing originated also in that comic book. So they kind of go with a comic book art style. It takes a minute to get used to, but it's a little bit like the Clone Wars. Once you're used to the animation, you're there.
Yeah, but it's not this triangle nose and square.
It's a flat animation. It's a 2D animated
show.
Very
cool. Very cool. I'll have to check that out sometime. Speaking of the Disney Afternoon, we just did this. Baloo and the crew of Tailspin.
I have forever been trying to figure out if Tailspin is a spin-off of the Jungle Book or not. Like, there are so many references to Jungle Book, it's weird, but there's no flippant way that this is actually a spin-off of King Louie is there.
It doesn't keep any of the storylines. I think it's inspired.
Characters from the Jungle Book, Louie, Baloo, and Shere Khan, they're all present, and this is just a fun adventure. It has one of the best theme songs of all time, like, full stop, like, including live action TV shows, including everything. The Tailspin TV show has just this the big laugh that Dad keeps doing in reference to it. It absolutely is. I think it's featured twice in that theme song, and it's all through the the show. It's great. Basically, Baloo is like a freighter pilot,
Hmm.
and I didn't mention this, but his guy, the Don Carnage guy, he's a primary bad guy in the DuckTales reboot.
Wow, you mentioned the Disney afternoon. That's something that I'd totally forgotten about in my countdown because just incredible. Disney came out with a every afternoon
Mhm.
or a weekly kind of, and they call it the Disney afternoon. It was on the Disney Channel or
Toon
yeah,
Disney.
Toon Disney. Thank you. When Toon Disney was a thing, and it was very good because it took these beloved characters and created new,
Whole
just
new
whole new
things.
plots. Tailspin comes in at number 9, leading us straight into number 8, Darkwing Duck.
Woo! Let's get dangerous.
Yeah, this was
Freaking
so much
love.
fun.
Okay,
I
this
can't
song in
believe it's at number
Tailspin.
8.
I know. There are some others that have wormed their way
Okay,
into my heart,
understood. Totally
unfortunately.
get it.
This and Tailspin always tie for my favorite theme song of all time. Like Darkwing, he's a Batman knockoff. Like let's just call him what he is. He's a Batman knockoff that doesn't do it very well. He desperately needs Goslin, his ward, who I guess is his Robin, but she doesn't actually get to go out with him to help him fight the crime. And Launchpad, who originated on DuckTales, is there as he was kind of on both shows. Like he worked for Scrooge during the day and then helped Darkwing out at night. Like
When do you
Launchpad,
ever
when
sleep?
do you sleep?
When do you sleep?
He's constantly crashing the plane. He
That's
didn't sleep.
true.
He
That's right.
slept night.
Yep.
But Darkwing, like I think the reason I love Darkwing as much as I do is, like I said, he's a Batman knockoff that's not good at it, but he keeps getting back up. Like,
Mm,
he's such a good perseverance role model.
sure.
Like, even if he doesn't have any business doing this, he knows that it needs done, and he knows he can. And he's a good role model for kids. Just
Sure.
don't get hurt as much as Darkwing kids.
Yeah.
Let's keep it safe. Wear your helmet.
Yep. Very good. That was Darkwing Duck at number 8. Next.
Dee, 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 dee.
Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. Coming in at number 7.
Kim Possible. I love this show. This was probably one of the first shows I watched that had a really, really cool girl in the lead. Like, let's just call it what it is. Girls don't always get to be the lead. Yes, they're often the cooler, smarter characters in shows. All of the lady that ran Baloo's plane
Freighter
thing.
service.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember what her name was. But Kim was the first lead of her show who, I mean, she saved the world, made it home for to do homework, and then also did cheerleading every weekend for basketball and football games. Like, girl was on point. I hate what Disney did with the live action uh movie that they did of Kim Possible because while they got Ron, Draken, and Shigo right, they made Kim this emotionally fraught girl with zero confidence. And Kim was the single most confident girl ever during this era of
I would
television.
agree. It's a good show.
She had multiple movies. And the thing is, like, this is one of the rare instances where once the leads got together, the show was still good.
Yeah.
Okay, the last thing I want to say on Kim Possible was it is one of those shows that got saved by a fan campaign. So they were supposed to end with that TV movie, So the Drama, where she and Ron finally get together at the end because the creators had always said, as soon as Kim and Ron get together, we're done. Fans wrote letters, sent emails, begged and begged and begged for one more season so we could at least have a season of Kim and Ron together. They did it. They got them graduated from high school. They went out with one of the most highly viewed Disney Channel finales at the time,
Wow, that's pretty cool.
to
All
my
right.
knowledge.
That was number 7.
I
What comes in at number 6, Kristen?
think it's Phineas and Ferb.
You're absolutely right. Phineas and Ferb. We're rolling on a Disney Channel
Well,
kind of vibe here.
Up with the Disney
And
Channel.
that's true. That is true.
That is
You're
what I watched. I was way more of a Disney girl than I was a Cartoon Network
Oh,
kid.
absolutely. Yeah.
Which is where all of the Hanna-Barbera stuff would air.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do my schoolwork in the morning when the Hanna-Barbera
That's
stuff
true.
was airing.
That's true.
But anyway,
What you doing?
I love Phineas and Ferb. This is such a wholesome cartoon that it's kind of like with Bluey. It kind of is one of those things that's like it inspires imaginations. It's basically about these two kid geniuses trying desperately not to be bored during the summer and are like, I know what I'm going to do today. And they build a roller coaster. They build a portal to Mars. They time travel. They do this. They do that. And it's all good fun. And all the while, their sister is trying to bust them to their mom who never ever sees it. And then there's a side plot about an evil scientist doing battle with a platypus and a fedora. I love this show so much. We're
It is,
presently going through and watching the series,
and
and
it is very sweet. And
it's
Kristen's
so
right.
sweet.
It's a good show. Good
It's so
show.
good, and it's actually supposed to be getting a revival here soon. Disney Plus is due. They recently did a new movie called Candace versus the Universe. It's pretty good, and they're doing a revival show.
That's cool. Well, very good. Phineas and Ferb. We both like Phineas and Ferb. It is Kristen said it. Imagination on steroids, and
On
it's good. It is so
steroids.
good.
The
That's
music also is amazing. There's an
you're
original
right.
song with every single episode except for the first one. They make up for that later by doing basically redoing the first episode, but as a musical. So there are like 6 songs to
Yeah,
make up for the lack of a first one.
and you're just waiting for whatever adventure period the platypus is going on. So that was number 6. Coming in at number 5. Coming in at number 5. Life is like a hurricane.
The original.
Wait, we've done that before.
No, we haven't. We are doing the original.
Very
The
cool.
original DuckTales. This
Woo!
I if you can't tell by my little friend here, I love me some DuckTales. Scrooge has always been one of those characters that I love because despite being a curmudgeon, he is the biggest sweetheart. Like he is. He can be grumpy and grouchy. He's an old man. Look at his cane. He old. And he's got these 3 triplets with in the original very annoying voices that are constantly in his ear. So you'd be a little cranky too. But I love him. He's Indiana Jones. He's Indiana Jones if Indiana Jones had funding. He never has to fly coach. He has a launch pad.
In DuckTales, he is. Yeah.
In DuckTales.
Yeah.
In DuckTales, Scrooge is the richest duck in the world, and he takes the kids on all of these adventures. He has so many great villains, Magica and Flintheart Glomgold, who again they all get expanded upon in the reboot. But I will say this: without DuckTales, the original, as a guiding light and a starting point, the reboot would have been nowhere near as good as it was. And again, theme song, iconic, iconic theme song. DuckTales needs more love. The OG needs more love. Please go watch it and all of the Disney afternoon cartoons on Disney Plus now.
They're all available to stream.
As far as I know, every single one of them is available to stream on Disney.
And we can recommend both the stuff that I talked about 2 weeks ago and Kristen's. Your kids can watch these, and especially the old school stuff. And I think they will be thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly entertained. But like anything, make sure you limit their screen time and just be careful. You make the call. Next, coming right up after DuckTales is number 4 on Kristen's countdown.
Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
You're going to have to unpack this one for me just a little bit. There were Avengers cartoons?
Yes, you watched this one with me, Daddy. This was a show that I came to late. It was near the end of Disney XD's life, as Disney XD as I knew it. It came out. It came out right as the MCU was getting started, and it borrowed from the comics heavily with its plot lines. It had clean animation. The voice cast was amazing. It introduced me to a lot of the villains that are now presently being used in the MCU and all of the other Marvel adjacent things. Like it's the reason I was at all that invested in Marvel. Like I loved the MCU and then I found this cartoon and I actually started digging into these characters and their lore. This is the show that introduced me properly to Hawkeye, who is now my favorite.
Yeah, it also was one of a series of Marvel animated shows, was it not?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. They were actively trying to kind of get not an MCU, but a cartoon Marvel universe going with this. because the Fantastic Four have an appearance on it. We've got a lot of the, like, I know Wolverine had an appearance. We've got Doctor Strange. We've got Spider-Man. And around this same time, there was another Spider-Man cartoon. I know that the voice of Spider-Man in that Spider-Man cartoon voiced Spider-Man in it, Drake Bell. He voiced Spider-Man for both of these shows.
Same
But
Josh and Drake?
yeah,
Okay,
that
cool.
Drake.
Yeah.
Drake and Josh Drake. Yeah. But anyway, that just never came to fruition. And then unfortunately, this show got canceled after we beat Galactus because we wanted to get more in line with the MCU. So every character got redesigned. The animation got bad. It was no longer called Earth's Mightiest Heroes. The great theme song was scrapped. You remember that theme song? That was a great theme song. We lost Wasp and Giant Man in favor of the Hulk and Black Widow and Falcon. And then it just like the what they replaced Earth's Mightiest Heroes with was such a pale comparison to what was a show more for preteens, and then what they replaced it which I think was called Avengers Assemble, was more for kids. Also, there was a Guardians of the Galaxy episode in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and again, I think that was originally meant to be a spin-off episode for them, and it just didn't come to fruition because by the time they were gearing up for that, Disney decided we're going to retool, and I'm still mad about that. Earth's Mightiest Heroes should not have been canceled when it was, and it deserves more.
Number 4. Now, how do you want to handle the top 3?
We'll just say this. The top 3 are the Star Wars shows that we constantly
Lump
talk
them
about.
together. I mean, they're almost interchangeable. All 3 of them were in my countdown as well. So, Kristen, lay it out for us.
These shows are just, they're so good. They're so good. And they're cartoons that tell a good story. They don't treat their audience like babies, even though technically they're rated for 7 and up. Like they get very real. So at number 3 we have Clone Wars. The reason I put it here is just because of the rough start it got with its animation and its out of orderness. I'm mildly OCD and I don't like that episodes from season 1 technically take place in season 3 and episodes from season 5 technically take place where season 1 belongs.
I don't know that that's OCD. You're just a linear person.
It bothers me.
Well, maybe you are OCD.
It bothers me. So, that's a little bit, and then again, some of the rough animation just gets to me, and, but without Clone Wars, we wouldn't have my favorite character of all time, Captain Rex. We wouldn't have Ahsoka. We wouldn't have Star Wars as we know it right now. I'll just say that.
Hondo!
Wouldn't have Hondo. We wouldn't have Mandalorians. They weren't really a thing until Clone Wars made them a big thing.
That's true.
So Star Wars as we know it owes a lot to Clone Wars, and so that's why it's in my top 3.
Clone Wars is number 3.
At number 2, we have Rebels. Again, my reasoning for putting it at number 2 is kind of more of a technical thing. Its animation in the first season was a little bit stagnant. Like, it wasn't rough, but it was just not as clean as it got by season 3 and 4.
Right.
And again, like you mentioned, Thrawn, best villain ever. And I also love some of the more in-depth looking that they do with the Force in general. Like we meet a character who outright says, I am not light or dark, I am the middle. He is called the Bendu. He is voiced by Tom Baker. Doctor Who fans, I know him as Scarfy. I don't know what number he is. I have always called him Scarfy. Please tell me what number he is if you know. But yeah. Also with Maul's appearances in this, we get a really contrasting look at the light side, the dark side, and just the devastation of the Empire as we follow this rebel crew.
It really does a good job of defining those who are Force sensitive versus actual Jedi.
Yeah.
And that's something that none of the Star Wars films or any of the other things have done.
Other than maybe Rogue One.
Yeah, Rogue One maybe a little bit. But yeah, but Rebels does a good job of helping to define that a little bit better.
At number 1, we have The Bad Batch. I cannot stress enough how much I love this show. It has everything I love about the previous two shows that I spoke about. It has a found family aspect with our Bad Batch plus Omega, and it also has the clones at the center of the story, which I've said before. Clones are my favorite episodes of Clone Wars to watch. So when they're at the focus, it's my favorite. And this whole show is just let's watch the clones. So
And the beautiful thing is they figured out the
they
animation.
figured out the
You know,
animation
they
and
figured
it
out the
is
animation. It is pristine.
stunning.
It's very
There
good.
there are multiple episodes that kind of cross over with Rebels or at least prequel Rebels. There are plenty of references back to Clone Wars and like the whole series ends with basically Omega about to go and be a background character in Rebels.
Right.
I really want to now watch Rebels to see if there's a character I can retcon as Omega.
Exactly.
But I don't know when. I don't know when in the Rebels timeline that takes place. Mr. Filoni, I need you to answer that for me so that I can actively start looking for Omega in the background of Rebels.
Or go ahead, do another season of Bad
Do
Batch.
season
We're fine with
Batch.
that.
Great with it, in fact.
Do it. Do it.
Or do a Tales of the Rebel Alliance from
Something like yeah.
like the pilot's perspective or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, just give us more Bad Batch,
More
please,
Bad Batch.
and thank you.
Yep.
We greatly appreciate it. That
Bad
was my
Batch.
number one. I love Star Wars, so obviously the three Star Wars shows had to be at the top.
What do you think? Was that I mean, your generation, Kristen, I mean, all of you Xers out there or Gen Zers or
I'm a
whatever
millennial.
okay, whatever generation you're in. I mean, I hate putting labels on anything because I love it all. And I'm a boomer, but
Technically.
technically late, last year were the boomers. But anyway, what do you think of Kristen's countdown? How does it compare to mine 2 weeks ago? Do you think we missed some things between both of
I
us?
mean, I know for a fact there are some Disney Channel cartoons that I probably missed. I just could not think of them when I was making my list. I wanted to put all the Disney afternoon shows on here. I nearly put Gummy Bears on here. I nearly put Chip and Dale on here, and I'm sorry that I didn't. That's like the one Disney afternoon show. It's probably my number 11.
But when you have 10,
When you only have 10,
you have to pick 10.
You gotta pick.
And that's why we call it a top 10 countdown
But
here in the Crossing Kin
we
Garage.
we do love Chip and Dale.
Yep.
I just liked the other shows better.
Right.
But yeah, that's my list.
And that's the cartoons from the Crossing Kin Garage. We've got 2 weeks of countdowns for you to enjoy. Like we said, we love everything entertainment, including animation, because it's such a beautiful art form, especially early on. But man, the stuff they're doing with computer animation now is absolutely exquisite.
I would like to see them go back to another 2D show, though. I miss some of the 2D cartoons,
Sure.
I am sorry to say.
No worries. I mean, that's the countdown. Did we get it right? Let us know in the comments.
Well, it's my countdown, so
Certainly
it's my
like it.
favorite. And ring that notification bell so that you know every time we upload. And please give us a subscribe. That way, you can be part of the Crossing Kin.
Family of people. We love you. Thank you for being here with us this afternoon. We really appreciate it.
Bye.
Later.